have all seen the suffering and the humanitarian crisis imposed on the Venezuelan people by Nicolas Maduro and his cronies. In the midst of this crisis, I would like to dispel some of the myths about the current situation in Venezuela. The people of Venezuela have suffered at the hands of Maduro and his regime. Maduro's policies led to hyperinflation, food shortages, and a public health crisis, forcing millions of Venezuelan people to flee the country. The number of Venezuelans seeking refugee status worldwide has increased 4,000% since 2014, according to the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. Inflation in Venezuela passed 1 million% in 2018, according to the International Monetary Fund. And 90% of Venezuelans are unable to purchase enough food on a daily basis to feed their families. On February 25, Vice President Pence announced that the United States is providing nearly $56 million in additional humanitarian assistance to support the Venezuelans who have fled the country due to the political and economic crisis caused by Nicolas Maduro. It is Maduro's disastrous economic policies and the actions of his oppressive regime alone that are directly responsible for Venezuela's collapse. Maduro created the economic conditions that led to this humanitarian crisis. The sanctions that the international community imposed over the past 2 years specifically target Maduro and his cronies, preventing them from enriching themselves at the expense of the Venezuelan people. The more recent sanctions against PDVSA preclude Maduro from further plundering the country's resources that belong to the people of Venezuela. Maduro lost his legitimacy by staging sham elections in May 2018. He jailed opposition leaders, suppressed the media, and rigged the electoral process. Juan Guaido, who served the people of Venezuela as president of the National Assembly, the only democratically elected body left in Venezuela, is the legitimate interim president of Venezuela. He represents the will of the people and offers hope to all Venezuelans. "54 countries recognize Juan Guaido as interim president of Venezuela. A broad coalition of democracies, including the overwhelming majority of countries in the Western Hemisphere, have assembled to insist that Venezuela be free and that humanitarian assistance should enter. We salute the governments and people of Colombia and Brazil for their leadership in this affair." The time for dialogue with Maduro has long passed. Every day that he stays in power is a day when political prisoners stay in jail, detainees are abused, and Venezuelans go without food and medicine. Meanwhile, Maduro continues to attempt to transfer Venezuela's resources to other countries, effectively stealing from Venezuelans. Maduro has betrayed the people of Venezuela. He turned his private armed gangs against them. He continues to block the desperately needed aid from entering the country. As Belize's ambassador to the United States and the OAS, Daniel Gutierrez, stated, Maduro's regime has miserably failed the people of Venezuela. I agree. I recognize that many countries in the region are rightfully grateful for the financial assistance they receive from the Venezuelan people. Allowing Maduro to continue his reign of political oppression and economic ruin is no way to say thank you for their generosity. We call on all nations to support the democratic aspirations of the Venezuelan people and the leader whom they have affirmed as their legitimate interim president, Juan Guaido. Now is the time to strengthen our commitment to the brave Venezuelan people. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Let us all be on the right side of that arc. Thank you.